The Miami Heat should not be this good this fast, and they should be applauded for how fast they were able to rebuild this team. After losing somebody like LeBron James in 2014, they were able to rebuild to a contending level within 3 years. Then losing their next best player in Chris Bosh to unforeseen health circumstances, and then we're still able to flip guys like Hassan Whiteside, Justice Winslow, second round picks like Josh Richardson, Tyler Johnson, who was undrafted, into what they have now, which is Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Herro, young guys that went undrafted that developed in Duncan Robinson, and will now look like probably the best team in the Eastern Conference. And while I know it's early and the sample size is still very small, the way they look is absolutely insane. And even though you have star power like Kevin Durant and James Harden on the Nets, or Giannis and Chris Middleton on the Bucks, right now the Miami Heat as a team, as a collective, look like they could probably be the best team in the Eastern Conference and the most dangerous team for any team to go up against in the playoffs. So let's talk about that. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I post. I feel like this year is going to be a great year for this channel, and I'd love to have you guys along for the journey. Coming into the season, I think we all expected the Miami Heat to be better than last year. After coming off a bubble year where they went to the NBA Finals and only having 2 months of rest after that, they severely underperformed last season when I first started in the NBA playoffs to a team that they handled really well in the Milwaukee Bucks in the bubble. So a lot of questions need to be answered. Is Jimmy Butler really a top 10, top 15 guy in the league? Can Bam Adebayo hit another gear and get better? Is Tyler Herro really worth all the stock that Miami Heat is putting into him? All those questions finally seemingly have a definitive answer so far in this regular season, and that's yes. After adding a guy like Kyle Lowry that can take the playmaking pressures off both Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler so they can both be just the best two-way players they can be, Tyler Herro finally having a full offseason to work on his game and a definitive role coming off the bench, and all the motivation in the world to perform after not being voted as one of the best young players in the league. This team looks like a complete juggernaut in every single way possible, from on the defensive end being one of the most physical teams with the new rules so far, and on the offensive end being a force in the paint, and so far a team that's been known to be a good three-point shooting team has been a slouch in that area, and should they get that back this season so far, you can look for them to even hit another gear. Also having guys like Victor Oladipo soon to come back from injury in a couple months, this team has a whole nother gear that they haven't hit, and so far they're taking down some of the best teams in the league with ease. So let's get into this completely. First guy I want to talk about is Jimmy Butler. Now, last year's regular season didn't have really much of a drop-off for Jimmy Butler. He had probably one of his best years in the league numbers-wise. But as soon as the playoffs came around, it was evident that the Miami Heat had a couple problems. One, Jimmy Butler can't be the scorer and the playmaker for this team at the same time. That's too much responsibility for a guy like him. He needs to have one role, and that's be a two-way player, a great defender and a great scorer. And with somebody like Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler has been feasting in the paint all year. And unlike a couple guys that have free throw problems so far this season, Jimmy Butler has not had any of those issues at all. So with free throws not being a problem for Jimmy Butler at all, him having a definitive role as a two-way player on this team, he has hit a gear that we've yet to see on this Miami Heat team so far, averaging 25 points, 7.4 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 2.8 steals per game on 51% shooting, with a shot that looks like a damn joke with this many layups on it, and it's all because of one reason. With Kyle Lowry now on the team, the Miami Heat has been able to push the pace to a level we've never seen before. Normally, the Miami Heat is a very slow and methodical team. They played great defense and were able to really capitalize on that and beat you methodically with a lot of threes the past couple years. But so far this season, the Miami Heat has made it a focus to get out on the break and in transition to get easy buckets because of Kyle Lowry, and Jimmy Butler has been the biggest beneficiary of that, with the Miami Heat having a pace of 100 this season, which isn't league leading. It's actually only 18th in the league, but compared to the season before where they were 29th, it is a very big step up from what they were doing. And with the new foul rules, Jimmy Butler has been able to play some very physical defense, along with his amazing anticipation in the passing lanes and always being a great defender. He's been able to rack up a lot of steals so far and even push the pace even further because they're getting to transition even more. So far, Jimmy Butler has been having an incredible year, and you can look for it to continue going on like this because it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon unless he starts just missing layups. Next player I'd like to talk about is Adebayo, somebody that we've talked about on this channel a pretty good amount. If you look at this video right here, where I say Adebayo has a chance to become a superstar this season, he has realized all those expectations so far this year. Adebayo has clicked into another gear not only offensively, but defensively so far. He does not look hesitant at all to take any mid-range jumpers. Instead of it being a cop-out for when he can't get to the rim, it looks like a shot that he's actually looking for to get throughout the entire year. And on defense, he has hit a whole nother level. Just so far this season, opponents against Adebayo this year, one-on-one, or when guarded by Adebayo, are shooting 12 of 50 and 5 for 25 from 3. That's 25% from the field and 20% from 3 so far. Along with somehow the great rebounding he's provided so far this season with additions like PJ Tucker to help him on the glass, Adebayo has looked like he's been able to take a step further, not only defensively but offensively, and he's my front runner for not only Defensive Player of the Year this year. You can definitely look for him to maybe make All-NBA first team or second team with the defense and offense he's been able to play so far this season. Next two guys I want to talk about is both Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry. Two guys that give Miami Heat the edge they need. While Duncan Robinson has been atrocious so far shooting the ball this season, he still has the same gravity that he has in years past that's given the Miami Heat an even bigger edge this year with how fast they've been playing. Teams can't react as fast with Duncan Robinson moving all over the ball, and it's giving the Miami Heat even better opportunities at the rim. And guys like Kyle Lowry, who again has not been shooting well at all, has been the maestro as a playmaker so far. And even though he hasn't been shooting well throughout his career, he's always been a great shooter, so you still have to respect him. So while he's still out there not shooting well, he's been able to play make an extreme level for this team, throwing the ball up, increasing pace, being a great playmaker, calming them down in the fourth quarter, and just being that steady hand on the offense and defensive hand that the Miami Heat needed all these years. Then you have guys like PJ Tucker and Markieff Morris that give the Miami Heat that edge they need on the defensive and offensive end. They've been great at making open shots so far, even though the entire team is struggling from 3. They're great on defense, amazing on defense, great at securing the ball and rebounding, and they are amazing at pushing the ball up court and making sure the Miami Heat are pushing pace and being the fast-paced team that obviously they're trying to be so far this year. And now we get into the man, the myth, the legend, Tyler Herro. The guy that's been getting slighted by the media all off-season, people writing him off as not only a bubble fluke, but not that good of a player. And so far this season, he's coming on a damn mission. So far this season, Tyler Herro has averaged 22 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 4.4 assists on 46% shooting and 37% from 3 and 88% from the line, with jumps in every single category from the previous season. So far, he's looked like he's on a mission to prove everybody wrong that wrote him off the season before, and he's doing a good job of doing that so far with a 30-point game against Indiana a couple nights ago. Last night, he had 26 against the Charlotte Hornets. And right now, I think everybody can agree he looks like the clear front runner for Sixth Man of the Year, and could get some Most Improved Player votes as well with the way he's improved from the season before, numbers wise. And overall, he's been looking like a great spark off the bench. The Miami Heat are able to inject him in any lineup and it becomes instant offense. And so far, this has not disappointed at all this season and exceeded a lot of expectations. And then you have guys like Victor Oladipo that's not back in the lineup, and if he comes back even half as good as when he left, you can look for the Miami Heat to take an even bigger jump with that bench unit and the second unit coming into the second half of the season. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think about this team. Do you think that they're clear contenders and could very much represent the East in the NBA Finals? Do you think they may have a drop off some part in the season? With that being said, this is FLB, that's my time, and I'm out.